Hello, my name is Tracy Allen, and I want to welcome you to Cooking with Some Friends. Okay, Kelly and I, the dishwasher just opened. It's done. Kelly and I are back, and we have done, Kelly's my sister, by the way. We have done carrot cake today, and we're in the process of doing donuts. Kelly's
I'm full of dough and full of frosting.
She's been sampling as we go. But we're on to making some more traditional Thanksgiving recipes because this will be in October that this posts, or November. And so we're making dressing or stuffing. Which one do you normally say?
Dressing.
Dressing. Oh, so you're...
Is that...
That's what? The more polite way.
Oh.
We were talking about the history of some of these foods, and during the Victorian age, they thought saying stuffing sounded crude, so they started calling it dressing. And really, probably during the time of the Pilgrims, even though we have it traditionally at Thanksgiving time, during the time of the Pilgrims, they probably stuffed their turkey, but more with wild rice and nuts and fruits, not a bread stuffing, dressing, whatever. And if you're in the South, you wouldn't use bread, you would use cornbread. So anyway, so we're making dressing. And we're using Kelly's recipe, and she's melting a stick of butter, and in that
it's not really my recipe. It's Essie's recipe.
It's Essie's recipe, because we did Essie's donuts too. And in this recipe we have, in Essie's recipe, a stick of butter that she's melting, and then she's going to add to that up to a cup of onion that's minced. But we were talking about the fact that my family isn't big on onion, and neither is part of your family. Kelly actually grates it.
Sometimes, yeah.
Sometimes, just so that they get the flavor, but they don't get the texture.
Some of them can't even see the onion.
Yeah.
So
they're okay with it. Yeah. And so, but we cut this down. There's really about a half a cup there, but not quite. And so she's going to saute that and a half a cup, or we're using half a cup of celery, but you can use up to a cup of celery in it. So she's going to saute those.
That's hot enough.
Yeah. She's going to saute those two until the onions are translucent, and then we're going to add them to our bread. And we've taken, this is what I liked about this. I could use up different breads that I had. So we dried some bread, and I did a combination of, we had some hamburger buns left over and hot dog buns left over, and we had a little bit of wheat bread we had left, but I also had some deli bread so it comes out a whole loaf of bread, or 12 cups is what's supposed to be in it. And we have 2 cups of chicken broth, and we have 2 eggs, raw eggs that we're going to put in it, some sage and some poultry seasoning. And then Kelly also, was this in Essie's recipe? Other eggs?
No, it wasn't.
Okay, so she also adds hard-boiled eggs to it, along with the eggs that go in the mix, and some salt. And then it calls for parsley, but that's optional.
Yeah, I didn't even know it called for parsley. So
you made it before without doing that.
And it's probably, when we do turkey and stuff, we use the actual.
If
we have enough, we use the actual broth and.
Right. But we're not doing turkey right now.
Or chicken. No turkey or chicken.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, French called earlier thinking we would serve him chicken and dressing, and we went, sorry, no chicken, no turkey, whatever. Okay. So we're going to let that saute, and do you want to go ahead and mix this part up, or can you?
Yeah.
While you're waiting? Okay, so...
Well, I can put the seasoning on it.
Right. So the seasoning that it calls for... I meant to get you some measurements. We have sage.
Is that sage?
Yeah.
It's not labeled.
No.
Oh, no, it is.
Yes.
It is.
So you can either use... I always just buy the ground sage. I think I have some rubbed sage, but a half a teaspoon.
Okay. And French likes a lot of sage, so I just
So you do more
put
than
whatever.
half a teaspoon?
Yeah, I just
You just do
get the
what
thing
you do
out and I
till it looks right.
just sprinkle it on there heavy. I'm gonna put a little more.
So you go closer to a whole tablespoon or teaspoon instead of half
Yeah.
a teaspoon. And then the poultry seasoning, it says 1.5 teaspoons. That's a brand new container. You can use that knife if you need to.
I hate these.
Yeah, you
things
just be
too.
careful. Yeah.
Well,
Don't let the kids open the poultry seasoning. You get it?
well, how do you? Oh, there. We may have plastic in our.
Well, at least it'll be easy to see, huh? And there goes that thumb again.
Yep.
Kelly hurt her thumb a while back, so it's hard to use it. Can you get it?
Nope.
That's good enough. You're not gonna measure?
No,
Okay.
you can measure if you want.
Okay, 1.5 teaspoons. Or eyeball it like Kelly does. And I did measure the chicken broth. You want this? You can use your hands, I don't care.
I'm just mixing that around in it.
Okay.
I think we need a little more sage.
You can sprinkle from there if you want to. It'll come out. Not fast enough for you though, huh?
Oh, I didn't get that all the way on there. We always used to get Max Hunziger. Is it Hunziger or
Hunziker.
used to give us sage from his garden.
Ooh.
We used to.
Fresh sage.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
ever-
he dried it. And
Yeah,
then-
do
but
you
it
ever-
was out of his garden.
Do you ever do herbs?
I
fresh
buy
herbs?
them, and then I don't plant them, or I buy them and I can't find them.
So they're just like your flowers that you do. Okay, so there's 2 cups of broth. And then she's gonna beat up the 2 raw eggs. You're serious about beating up your eggs.
Is that ready?
Yeah, it's
Well,
ready whenever you're ready.
I wonder, you don't want to cook the egg?
So mix it in first, yeah. Here, you can use this if you want to. Got it? I'll turn that off.
Are these yeah?
They're peeled, they just need to be sliced up. And I'll get the cooking spray from in front of you and should have done that ahead of time. Sorry. And I'm gonna spray the casserole dish this goes in and then we'll bake it at 350 for 30 minutes. Oh, I already did spray it. I was more on the ball than I thought I was.
I usually have
So-
big chunks of egg too.
So what made you decide to put boiled eggs in it as well?
I thought she did. Sometimes I don't make it with even the.
The raw egg in it?
Yeah.
Well, the raw egg would act as a binder to hold it together, but okay. Want this in?
Yeah. I'll trust you.
I have years and years of payback I could probably give older sisters who are not so nice to little sisters sometimes.
It's looking good.
And, but
I
you
guess
don't
I don't like
you
it,
don't
no.
like stuffing? Dressing?
Dressing, yes, but it looks good.
Okay.
And it doesn't have any salt and pepper in it.
Oh, it has salt. You can sprinkle some over it, half a teaspoon of salt.
Oh, it did.
But you could put pepper in it, even though
I
the
mean,
recipe
I
doesn't
just
call for it.
realized that How much does it call for?
A half teaspoon, and that's what that little spoon is. And if you want pepper, you can put it in there. I put pepper in everything, don't you?
Usually, but I guess I never paid attention before.
Well, and with chicken broth or your turkey broth or whatever, that would have salt in it. So, okay. So this is going to go in the baking dish, and we'll put this in the preheated oven. Hello and welcome back to Cooking with Some Friends. I, as usual, am getting ready for supper, but what makes tonight a little bit different is we have a ball game for my granddaughter to go to, so it's here in town, luckily, so I tried to think of what I could make for our supper that would be something fairly quick when we got home, and so I've decided I'm going to make some baked sour cream chicken, and then I can throw a couple of sides together. And the reason I chose this is because I can prep a lot of it ahead of time, and then all I have to do when I get home is preheat my oven and pop this in the oven to bake. And then while I'm preparing my side dishes, this will be baking. So anyway, so I'm going to make this. I started with spraying my baking dish, and the other prep work that I did ahead of time, I took 4 chicken breasts and I lightly tenderized those. You don't want to overdo it. Just so they're no thicker than a ½ an inch thick in any place on the chicken breast. And I'm going to lightly dust those with a little bit of garlic powder and a little bit of salt and pepper. And I'm going to wait to salt and pepper until I get them in my dish. So. The other reason I like this, we don't have a lot of leftovers with this particular chicken dish, and with the 2 of us, that's always nice when we're not eating the same thing over and over and over again. Get that separated. You don't want to overdo the garlic powder. You just want to give it a little bit of flavor. And then my last one. Well, the hardest part about this is getting my chicken open. Okay. So the garlic powder is going to go on as soon as I get this in the pan. I'm going to use some salt and pepper, and I don't want to overdo that either. Kind of like a puzzle. Okay. I'll wash my hands off a little. Just a little bit of salt and pepper. I found that if I go heavier with my pepper, that I'm more content not to go as heavy with the salt, and that's good since that's not so good for me. And then I have a cup of sour cream that I'm going to put all over the top of this. Now normally then I would go ahead and put about a teaspoon or maybe a little bit more of my Italian seasoning into my crushed up cornflakes, and you can use Italian breadcrumbs if you want to. But I would normally put those together and put the sour cream on this and then put that over the top and then bake it. But since I'm not baking right away, I'm going to go ahead with the sour cream part and spread that over the top. And then I'm going to cover this and put it back in the fridge for that little bit of time that I need to be gone to the games, so that it's ready to go when I get home. If you find you're on the go a lot, sometimes these kinds of dishes are so handy. And I thought we were always really busy when our kids were growing up, but I find that we're just as busy now with our grandkids growing up. Okay. Make sure they're all good and covered. And then that's what it looks like. And I will put my Italian seasoning into my breadcrumbs, or my cornflakes in this case. And it takes about half a teaspoon or so of the garlic seasoning. So not a lot of different ingredients, but very quick, very easy, and just a little difference in flavors. So cover it and put it in the fridge. Thanks for joining us for this session of Cooking with Some Friends. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to our YouTube channel. And find us on Facebook at Cooking with Some Friends.